Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. So today we will learn how to send Docker container logs to Elasticstack. We will set up an Elasticstack, Elasticsearch, Kibana and Filebeat using Docker and configure Filebeat to collect and forward Docker container logs to Elasticsearch. And by the end, you will have a fully functional logging pipeline that sends Docker logs to Elasticsearch and visualizes them in Kibana. So first, let's see the prerequisites. You should have an AWS account with Ubuntu 24.04 EC2 instance up and running. Then you should have at least 2 CPU cores and 4 GB of RAM for smooth performance. And also you should have Docker and Docker Compose installed in your system. So let's move on with the practical. Our first step is install Docker and Docker Compose. So for that, first we will update the package list using sudo apt update command. Sorry. Our package list is updated. Next, we will install Docker and Docker Compose. Now, our next step is set up the Elastic Stack with Filebeat. So let's create a Docker Compose.yaml file. Then inside the file, we will add this content. So let's copy it and paste it inside that file. So here you can see we have written services like Elasticsearch, Kibana, and Filebeat, and we have also mentioned their image here with their latest version 8.17.2 here in Elasticsearch in environment. This ES underscore Java underscore OPTS. This configures the Java heap size and discovery dot type equals to single node. This sets up the Elasticsearch as a single node cluster. And we have also set the port to 9200. And also in Kibana, the port is set to 5600. And here in Filebeat, the user is root. And in volumes, we have mounted the Docker logs directly to where live Docker right here. And the Docker socket also. And also, you should know that we have given only read only permission here. So let's save the file. Now our next step is configuring Filebeat in Docker. So first we will create a directory for Filebeat configuration, and inside that directory we will create a filebeat.yaml file. So here we are creating the my underscore work dir directory, and inside that directory we are creating filebeat.yaml file. So let's copy this command and paste it. Now let's copy this filebeat.yaml file and paste it here inside our file. So here also you can see the type is container and path to the Docker container logs is given. So make sure you give the path to your Docker container logs. Then here we have also shown the processor. This adds the metadata to the logs and JSON data also, and output is set to Elasticsearch here, and logging in JSON format is set to true, and logging metrics enabled is set to false. So let's save the file. Then our next step is start the ELK stack using Docker Compose. Compose. So let's start the services using sudo docker compose of company. So now it's pulling the image from Elasticsearch. Now it's pulling the Kibana image. Just wait a minute until the process is complete. So now our container creation is completed. Now let's verify if containers are running or not. So let's use sudo docker ps command. So as you can see, all our containers of Filebeat, Elasticsearch, and Kibana are started and running. So now next step is set up Elasticsearch and Filebeat. So first, you should know that Elasticsearch enables security by default. So we need to reset the password for the Elastic user. So let's access the Elastic container using sudo docker exec, and you need to give your Elastic container name here. So now we have accessed the Elasticsearch container. Now let's go to main directory. Then we will run the Elasticsearch reset password here, and user is Elastic. Now you need to enter the new password here. As you can see, our password for Elastic user is successfully reset. Now let's exit the container. So next, we will edit the filebeat.yaml file. Inside the file, we will include the Elasticsearch credentials. So just scroll down. So inside the output.elasticsearch section, we will add the username and password. Now let's save the file. Make sure to write your own password here. Now let's restart the container. So first we will use Docker Compose down to stop the containers. Then next we will restart again using sudo docker compose up command. So now our containers are created. Then next we will test the connection to Elasticsearch using the user credentials, which are our user is Elastic and password DevOps@123. So let's try to access it. So let me tell you first that it may take some time for Elasticsearch to establish the connection. So at first it may not work quickly. All right. Now here you should see the response with Elasticsearch cluster details. Now our next step is set up Kibana. So to securely connect to Kibana to Elasticsearch, first we will generate a service account token. So let's copy this command and paste it here. So now here we need to save the value from value field. So let's copy it and save it like in Notepad. Kibana token. Now next we will also generate the encryption key. So here the OpenSSL, this invokes the OpenSSL command line tool. Then RAND, this specifies the random number generation, and hyphen X, this option tells OpenSSL to output the random bytes in hexadecimal format, and 32 is the number of random bytes to generate. So this command will produce the 64 characters hexadecimal string. Let's run this command and we will also copy it. Let's say note it down here. Sure. Now after generating them, we will update the docker compose.yaml file to include this service account token and encryption keys in it. So let's open it. Now here under the Kibana section, we will write these environment variables to the Kibana service. So let's copy them. So to write them correctly, or it may cause error. So now here, first we will give our Kibana token which we have generated. Let's go back to the notepad, copy it, and inside Elasticsearch service account token, we will paste it. And we also need to give the encryption key here. Let's copy it. Okay. We are also going to give the encryption key in all these three environment variables, which are expect security encryption key, then expect encrypted saved object encryption key, and expect reporting encryption key. So let's give it to all these three places. Now let's save the file. So again, let's restart our container. So first we will use sudo docker compose down. So now our containers are stopped. Now let's start them using sudo docker compose down command. So now they have started. You can also verify it. Sudo docker ps any command. So here, as you can see, our containers are created. They are running. So now our next step is accessing the Kibana. So for that, you need to use your public IP address of your own EC2 instance with port 5601. So let's go back to our WS, copy the public IP address, paste it inside the browser, colon 5601, which is port number for Kibana. Enter the username as Elastic and password, which we have set in DevOps. Now click on Explore on my own. And now you can see the home page of Kibana here. Now let's go to the menu bar, scroll down, and in the management section, go to stack management. Scroll down. In the Kibana, click on data views. Then next, click on create data view. Give the name like demo or Docker logs. Like a file bit. Sorry, file bit. So you can see it says your index pattern matches to sources. So let's save the data view, Kibana. Now let's again go to menu bar. In the analytics, go to discover. So here you can see the logs, Docker logs. You can visualize the generated Docker logs here. You can even see the container, which is Docker Elastic Kibana here. If you scroll down, you can see Elasticsearch container is also here, and also the Filebeat container logs are also present. So today we have seen how to send the Docker container logs to Elasticsearch stack using Docker Compose to collect and visualize the Docker container logs. And by following all these steps, which we have seen today, you can create a centralized login pipeline that makes it easy to monitor and analyze your application logs. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you.